The sharks that stalk the upper ocean are the stuff of nightmares. But what monsters lurk in the darkest depths?
When they tear food apart, you see that big mouth opening, and they are a very, very powerful animal.
Tracking down these deep-sea aliens will take state-of-the-art technology and a team of American and Japanese scientists ready to take the plunge. Their mission, to find and film the strangest sharks on the planet.
Oh, look, big shark on it. Big shark. Oh, right there. Oh, look, the big gill on it already.
They're searching the deep for the big, the bad, the ugly. And one of the rarest monsters of all, an alien beast they call Megamouth. Off the coast of Japan, if you drained the ocean, you'd find some of the deepest gorges on the planet, even deeper than the Grand Canyon. It's a foreign place, Earth's final frontier, where scary creatures skulk in the dark.
Deep-sea sharks look like alien life forms, and there's a good reason for that. They've actually evolved, and they live in one of the harshest, most high-pressure, strange places on our planet.
A world that marine biologist Dr. Greg Stone has spent his life exploring.
We're waiting for you.
As he knows from experience, you need bait to attract deep-sea sharks. Big bait. And just outside Japan's leading marine science laboratory, researchers have some major chow sitting on ice. A young sperm whale that washed up dead on a beach. A shark favorite. Even frozen, dead sperm whales give off a putrid stench.
They're very smelly, they're very oily, and they have acquired a lot of these odors that humans don't find very attractive. I'm very curious, is it in good condition?
Really stinky, it's becoming very bad.
Studying dead whales is not a glamorous job, and you have to throw your clothes away after you do the work, because you could never get the smell of the whale out of your clothes.
That stench is exactly what attracts sharks. The plan is to drop the carcass directly over one of the deep-sea gorges. If everything goes right, it'll sink straight to the ocean floor, more than 1,500 feet down. And researchers will follow close behind. At the helm is Dr. Yoshihiro Fujiwara, a research scientist who spent his career searching for life in the abyss. It's a daring mission with a huge team of researchers and support staff and some of the world's most cutting-edge equipment. The Aleutian research vessel boasts 2 of the world's most advanced submersibles, each capable of diving to more than 3,000 feet. Like spacecraft, these multi-million-dollar pods are designed to keep the crew alive in the deepest, most inhospitable reaches of the ocean.
You think you're going to feel claustrophobic, but these subs make you feel open and free because the visibility is so fantastic. We usually bring fish up into our lives, put them in aquariums and look at them, and now we're putting ourselves basically in an air aquarium and going into the ocean and looking at them.
Looking with a specially developed camera several hundred times more sensitive than normal. This is some of the most sophisticated underwater technology on the planet. Dr. Sho Tanaka is Japan's leading shark expert. He will identify animals if and when they appear. Everyone's eager to get the mission underway, including Greg Stone, a veteran diver who's journeyed up to 18,000 feet beneath the sea.
We'll get this back up to a battery change.
Okay. I view an expedition like this with the submarines and the technology that we have as a whole new form of navigation. We're navigating new parts of our planet we've never been to. So this is cutting-edge science, very creative science, too. We're going to deploy the carcass on a bit of a shelf, actually, which will provide an opportunity for animals to come in from all around, maybe even come up from the deep. It's almost like the restaurant, right? You're providing a buffet to the animals down there. Sushi.
Scientists have long studied what happens to whale remains on the ocean floor. But this is the first time they're bringing their own carcass and watching from start to finish.
This is crazy.
While one team prepares for the drop, the crew on the nearby research vessel readies the submersible.
We're gonna take Triton here or at surface. Take him. Hey.
No one wants to miss a second of the action. Sharks have an acute sense of smell and might be attracted to the whale carcass the second it hits the water. Once the cable's cut, a concrete block will drag the stinking carcass straight to the bottom and keep it from drifting in the current.
There it goes. That thing is charging towards the bottom at a pretty good clip. I would estimate it'll probably arrive in about 5 or 8 minutes.
Because the sub isn't free-falling like the whale, its descent will take around 30 minutes. Hopefully, they'll be able to find the carcass once they hit bottom. It's further down than the height of the Empire State Building. They call this layer of the ocean the Twilight Zone, an eerie place where it's impossible to see what's swimming just a few feet ahead. The water is filled with marine snow, particles of dead animals, feces, and silt, drifting to the sea floor from high above. There's little else to eat down here. More than a ton of rotting whale flesh would be a real feast. But where's the whale? The team is not where they're supposed to be. A strong current must have pushed the submersible off course.
I've got quite a current.
And without a single landmark, they don't have a clue where they are.
We are gonna to go. What's this? Southeast.
So, okay, guys, I guess what I'm looking for is some direction. You can see me. I've lost the mooring line.
Yeah, all right, just stand by 1 minute.
Suddenly, the intercom goes dead. The crew is now totally cut off. Lost at the bottom of the ocean, danger mounting with every passing minute. If they get stuck in the sediment or tangled in deep-sea fishing lines, every life on board is in jeopardy. There's a limited amount of oxygen and a long trip to the surface. At these crushing depths, even the tiniest leak in the sub would mean instant death.
If you do get tangled up, there's life support in the submarine for about 3 days. After that, you'd be dead. So you'd have to get somebody there to cut you loose and bring you back to the surface within 3 days.
Dr. Fujiwara has only a rough map of the ocean floor.
Because I need you to watch the bottom from me.
The way is going to deep dive.
After a heart-pounding hour, driving blind, they're finally back on track.
I can see something.
Oh,
What is that? I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you got? It's a whale.
They found the whale. But instead of lying on the ocean floor, it's moving as if it's come back from the dead.
Oh yeah, he's dancing all around the current.
But it's not just the current.
It's moving. It's still moving.
Oh, look, big shark on him. Big shark. Oh, right there. Oh my God. 6 still on him already. Look at that.
So that is moving.
A shark has its jaws clamped on the whale.
Wow, it's crazy.
It's a blunt-nosed six-gill, and it appears to be nearly 20 feet long as the biggest great white ever measured.
Yeah, I got a 6-gill in front of me, bro.
It was really kind of startling to see that 6-gill attacking the carcass. 6-gill sharks are big, and when they come in, they can throw their mass into the prey with their powerful jaws and teeth. They can actually move it around. In some ways, they're like a great white shark, but they have more mass per cubic foot than a great white does because of the way they're put together.
It jerks its head back and forth to hack off chunks of flesh. Its large fang-shaped teeth are like saws and much more deeply serrated than those of a great white. As it sinks them into the carcass, its eyes roll back in its head for protection.
Of all the deep-sea sharks, I'd be most afraid to encounter a 6-gill because, boy, when they tear food apart, you see their bodies twisting, you see the muscles flexing, you see that big mouth opening, and they are a very, very powerful animal.
The six-gill has left an enormous gash in the whale, almost 16 inches across. It doesn't seem like enough food to satisfy such a massive shark, but as he retreats into the darkness, he seems to have other plans. Then, suddenly,
Holy crap.
he's back within inches of the sub. Is he trying to intimidate the intruders? Or make them a meal? Great white sharks are supreme killers. Massive and stealthy, with a bite so devastating, they can tear you in half in a split second. This monster we know well. But over half the world's 500 shark species live in deep water, nearly 1,000 feet down. How big they are, how strong, how aggressive, no one really knows. Researchers hope the dead whale dropped in Japan's Sagami Bay will help them find out. Today, marine biologist Dr. Greg Stone is leading the hunt.
We know very little about deep-sea sharks. Over the years, we've learned quite a bit about shallow water sharks because we can get to them, we can see them. They're in the reef, they're in the dive zone, but the deep-sea sharks they're so deep in the ocean that it's hard to get there.
Happy, we're gonna tow you up.
Pressures are extremely high, the temperatures are extremely low, and it's only been in the last several decades that we've had underwater vehicles, rowboats, submarines, and whatnot that can get down, into these 1,000-foot depths. The deeper you go, the stranger it gets. This is stuff like out of horror movies. It's like, these things are really scary looking.
Since the 19th century, 40 different species of deep-sea sharks have been spotted in Japanese waters. Some of them found nowhere else. To try to capture them in action, the team on board the Aleutian is setting up multiple cameras around the rotting whale carcass. The cameras will record any predators that emerge from the darkness, even when the subs and scientists aren't there. Over the last few years, the scientists and filmmakers have made multiple expeditions in search of these aliens of the deep. And they're getting help from the best guides around, deep-sea fishermen.
What's special about Sagami Bay is that the deep sea can be found really close to shore. It's because of the geology of Japan that you go out a few miles and suddenly you're in 2,000 feet of water.
As the fishermen head to the most likely shark hangouts, the film crew loads fish into a cage attached to their camera. They also use a robotic camera to follow any unusual creatures that might show up.
These remote cameras capture scenes that no other technology can see. There's not a person there. There's not a noisy submarine in the background. It's kind of like a camera trap like we have on land, but it's in the ocean. And you get to see what the sharks are doing when people aren't there.
Over 4 years, the cameras have been lowered to the sea floor more than 200 times. At 20 hotspots, where fishermen had accidentally pulled sharks from the depths. Almost immediately, a glowing eye emerges from the darkness. It's a shark called the rough-skinned dogfish, nearly 5 feet long. Down here in the pitch black, those glowing eyes give it an edge.
There is no sunlight at these depths, but organisms make light through biological mechanisms using phosphorus. It's adapted its eyes in order to see these essentially very dim lights in the deep sea.
As the cameras descend even deeper, a giant emerges from the darkness. A Pacific sleeper shark. These alien creatures can grow to over 20 feet in length, bigger than the biggest great white. And it's not afraid. The smell of the bait seems to trigger its hunting instinct. It's the biggest shark in the deep. Thanks to these remote cameras, researchers are learning many new things about these strange creatures.
It's almost like Star Trek. We can beam in here from Japan and get down there and see them and then beam back out. And it's just been fantastic.
With their fleet of remote cameras deployed around the rotting whale, the research team investigates an even deeper stretch of ocean beyond Sagami Bay. Out of nowhere, a bizarre-looking animal appears. A goblin shark, one of the creepiest, most alien species ever recorded. These guys were discovered in the late 19th century, but only now are their secrets being revealed. Their snouts are peppered with sensors that can pick up even the tiniest flow of electric current. And all living things have some current running through their bodies. There's no place to hide. Like a metal detector, the shark sweeps its nose over the seabed for as little as 1/10 millionth of a volt. But that's nothing compared to what the goblin shark can do with its jaw.
Instead of the shark moving out, the jaw comes out. It's aggressive and it goes quick. The jaw comes out and grabs things like that. This is the first time that we've captured the goblin shark actually capturing prey underwater. It's mind-blowing.
The search for alien sharks next takes the team to the edge of a plunging gorge. Here, in the middle layer of the ocean, slithers one of the shark world's most unusual species, the frilled shark.
The frilled shark is one of the most bizarre-looking creatures on the planet. It really does look like an alien. It's possible some of the myths and legends of sea serpents came from the frilled shark.
Behind its grin is a mouth like nothing researchers have ever seen. Row after row of razor-sharp hooked teeth. 25 rows. 300 teeth. Their victims don't stand a chance.
They can distend their mouths open and eat things that are more than half their body length. And then its digestive system also expands kind of like a snake, so that it can take in a really big piece of prey and then slowly digest it down its tract.
But there's something even stranger out here, trying to stay hidden. A massive shark that's rarely been filmed alive. The ultimate alien monster, Megamouth. The scientists on board the Aleutian aren't just searching for sharks in some of the world's deepest waters. Today, a team of researchers is hunting for another elusive and alien monster, the giant squid.
Going down 600-700 meters.
It could be a very good day. I'm very psyched.
Marine biologist Edie Wither hopes to lure one of these bizarre beasts from the shadows with an e-jelly, a device that mimics the brilliant light display of real deep-sea jellyfish to attract some of the squid's favorite prey. The team struck out so far, but today they're armed with a special weapon, a frozen chumsicle mounted to the front of their rig.
It's a special blend, secret blend of fish heads and guts and gore. See what happens. Hopefully they like it down there. Okay.
You ready for me?
Yeah.
Cliff, you ready?
The team hopes the chumsicle's stench will help lure a giant squid out of the shadows and toward their e-jelly so it can be filmed.
Just about landing on a fish.
What they don't realize is their tantalizing concoction is working better than expected. But it's not the encounter they'd been hoping for.
Oh my God!
Cheers.
Do you want lights? Yes, let's do lights. Well, he's trying to take the e-jelly.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gill. Oh no, don't eat the jelly!
They're confronted by a massive 6-gill shark, and it's not alone.
Oh, there's 2!
Really?
2!
No way. Oh my God. They're huge.
It was a lure, but not for the 6-gill. When it came in and attacked the lure, we were like, wow, this is different.
Look, look.
Oh no,
Whoa,
no!
whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, take it! Spit it out, spit it out!
No. No, don't swallow it.
There was no food there, and usually sharks detect that after they start to bite something, so it was a little unsettling. And when you think about it, too, the submarine is not that far off the components of the electric jellyfish, so we were really surprised.
Coming back. Here he comes. No, don't go under there. Don't go under there. That was very cool.
Hey, that was seriously cool.
How do you feel, Ed?
I think they like the e-jelly.
I think they like everything.
The chance encounter with a pair of ferocious 6-gills sheds more light on the secret lives of deep-sea sharks. But one of the rarest sharks on the planet still manages to elude the team's cameras. It first appeared in 1976, tangled in the anchor of a Navy research vessel near Hawaii. A monster 15 feet long with a gaping mouth more than 3 feet wide. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. They delivered it to the front lawn of marine biologist Dr. Leighton Taylor at the Waikiki Aquarium, who gave the monster its name.
Wow, that's a mega-sized mouth, and so mega mouth, big mouth shark. So I knew it was a shark, but it didn't fit into any group of sharks that I had ever seen before.
And inside its giant mouth, something even weirder.
When we first looked into the mouth of Megamouth, it was obvious that it was different from the lining of other sharks' mouths. It was very silvery, very reflective. And people were taking flash photographs. We noticed that the flashes would kind of light up the silvery lining like a mirror or something.
Megamouth's discovery caused a sensation. It was as if a creature from another planet had landed on Earth, its alien powers barely understood.
The upper jaw, that flap of skin, has those what we think are bioluminescent organs on them. So it's kind of like baiting your trap with bright lights to attract things in.
But no one knows for sure how this monster feeds, because hardly anyone has ever seen a living megamouth, much less caught one on camera.
If you get a picture of a megamouth, I think you're all heroes. You get an automatic Academy Award.
It's one thing to find one dead, tangled up on an anchor, but the holy grail was to find a megamouth alive in the water and film it.
It's a steep challenge. Since the megamouth's discovery in 1976, only around 50 have been reported worldwide. Most found dead in fishermen's nets or washed up on shore. But a third of these finds have been made near Japan. If the team has any hope of filming the ultimate monster of the deep, then this is the best bet. Somewhere down in the deep, dark Pacific, there's a monster shark stalking the ocean floor. Barely even glimpsed, rarely filmed, they call it Megamouth. Researchers are determined to track down this alien. But how do you find one shark in an endless abyss? Dr. Tanaka's team comes together to strategize. Every time a megamouth has turned to investigate, and he's discovered a clue. Some of these giants had shrimp in their bellies. Tanaka's new game plan: find the monster by finding its food.
We thought the chances of Dr. Tanaka finding this were slim to non-existent. The megamouth was a very elusive creature. It avoided detection at all until 1976.
Okay, coming up!
The ocean is vast, and it's like finding a needle in a haystack. If Dr. Tanaka can film the megamouth feeding, it'll be a huge coup.
Depth 1, 5
More than 50 stories down, they enter the Twilight Zone. It's here that Dr. Tanaka hopes to pick up the trail of the most elusive shark in the ocean. The dive time is ticking past. Soon they'll have to return to the surface. With just a few minutes left, a glimmer of hope, a Sakura shrimp. Just what the team's been looking for. After identifying the Sakura shrimp as part of Megamouth's diet, Dr. Tanaka has been staking them out.
Finding the Sakura shrimp could be a key to finding one in the wild. No guarantees, but it's a clue.
But can a single shrimp lead him to a giant shark? The tiny creature vanishes. But Dr. Tanaka thinks he knows where it's heading. Around this time of day, shrimp start swimming for the surface. And the sub does the same.
Depth 100 meters.
Finally, there they are. A massive Sakura shrimp. The shrimp hide in the deep during the day when surface predators are active. At night, they rise up to feed. Could it be the phantoms of the deep are also coming to the surface under the cover of darkness? To find out, the team makes repeated dives, plunging to the depths by day, then following the shrimp to the surface by night. But time and time again, there's no sign of Megamouth. The team returns to the smelly carcass on the ocean bottom. It's been 9 days since the sperm whale hit the sea floor. Now it's time to retrieve the cameras left to watch it. Easier said than done.
We left the camera behind to get some of the footage when we weren't there. And it was a really exciting moment, waiting for the kind of the results of many years of preparation.
I'm a little bit worrying about the whale. We may lose the whole whale already because of the shark attack.
For the crew, it's like Christmas morning. And they've been rewarded with amazing images. In less than a week, nearly half the whale has been consumed.
When we saw what was going on down there, it was like Grand Central Station. I mean, there were hagfish coming in, there were worms coming in, there were crabs. This whale carcass clearly became the center of attention.
But they're not alone.
Whoa! Hey, shark! Oh my God!
It's not Megamouth, but a massive 6-gill shark staking its claim. Then it disappears.
That's very nice. Nice bird.
An hour later, it's back. From this angle, battle scars reveal it's the same monster they saw on day 1.
One of the things about this 6-gill was that it kept coming back. And this was a very interesting discovery. It was almost like a lion in the savannah that had gotten a kill. And it was their kill. So they were staying in the area, probably making sure other 6-gills weren't going to come in. Whoa,
It's the first evidence we have that deep-sea sharks are territorial. And it might explain why it's the only shark on the scene. All the better for the little guys to sneak in unnoticed. None of this eat-a-thon would be possible had it not been for the 6-gill's very first bite. Tearing open the carcass like a giant can opener, allowing other animals like this 5-foot-wide Japanese spider crab to eke out a living in the middle of a desert.
But a dead whale on the seafloor is actually an entire ecosystem. It provides food, it provides habitat, and the animals that eat that food and live in that habitat are some of the oldest related creatures on the earth.
But there's something older still, hiding in the dark. Will the research team ever lay eyes on a living megamouth? Just when it seems megamouth will never show itself, there's a frantic call from the coast. Fishermen have spotted something big and weird swimming in the shallows. Dr. Tanaka rushes to the scene. Could the alien of the deep be surfacing by night? The water is alive. A seething mass of krill. Like Sakura shrimp, these crustaceans rise to the surface at night. They're tiny, but by the millions, it's just the sort of feast that might lure a megamouth from the depths. Dr. Tanaka thinks they're onto something. Time for a closer look. At first, it seems the alien creature has vanished. Then, suddenly, something massive moves through the light. They can't believe their eyes. It's a startling discovery. A real live megamouth at least 16 feet long, the size of a big great white.
I was very surprised to find a megamouth in shallow water near the coast. I mean, here's an animal that no one even knew existed until 1976, a big animal. And if it's near the coast now, you'd think it would have been near the coast and in shallow water prior to 1976.
It seems unimaginable. An alien of the deep sneaking into the shallow waters by night. Who knows what other deep-sea monsters could be out there right now? It's a mind-blowing sight. A monster shark adapted to the dark, lonely depths, showing absolutely no fear of the cameraman or the light. The krill are calling, and the megamouth navigates straight for the action.
At first, I was surprised that we found that shark in such shallow water, but now it makes sense. Every night is the greatest migration on planet, and deep-sea animals of all sizes and varieties make their way to the surface as the sun goes away. And the shark was following them up.
The cameras are trained on its huge mouth. And then, a ghostly reflection from the diver's lights. An alien glow that may lure prey to their depths. An unearthly creature finally revealing itself. More than 30 years after it was discovered. If a creature this large could remain unknown for so long, what other monsters are out there, just waiting to be discovered?
There's still surprises in deep-sea sharks, I'm sure, that as we, finish exploring the deep sea, finish exploring our oceans, we will find new species of deep-sea sharks, along with probably thousands of new species of marine animals in general. My concern about the deep sea and the sharks that live there are that human activities are changing that environment before we've even had a chance to explore it. These sharks are rare, their populations are unknown, and they reproduce very slowly. It would be tragic if we caught the last of a species before we even knew it was endangered.